Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Lauren. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about my experience with a life coach. I decided to sign up for life coaching for a number of reasons. The main one was just that the last year or so, I had felt like I just wasn't progressing very much in my career. And I knew that I wanted to be at a place where I could have a family, start a family, have kids. And I just felt like I knew that was the next step of my life. You know, I've gotten married, I've gotten out of school, kind of have been working for a good couple of years, and like kids was like the next step. And I wanted to be able to get to that next step, but I just felt like I just kept going in circles and I was never making enough money, never hitting the goals that I wanted to hit in order to have kids. And so I decided to reach out to a life coach. So I decided to reach out to Alison. So Alison, I've known for a super long time. I met her in the Aspen program for psychic development, and that's where I learned how to do basically all of this psychic stuff that I learned how to do. So we were partners in a lot of classes. We did exercises together, we did readings together. I think I remember a lot of us doing Reiki together, and we would swap Reiki for each other a lot. And so I've known her for a very long time. She's very much into the intuitive metaphysical stuff that I do. And we've kept in touch over the years. We were both coaches at the Aspen program. And then over the years when the Aspen program left Colorado, we still kept in touch. It was one of those that, you know, we kind of read each other. Sometimes as a psychic, you just need to know another psychic that you can look to when you're just feeling jumbled. Alison told me that she was starting a life coaching business. That was something that I gave her a lot of readings on, and so I knew it existed. So when I decided to look for a life coach, I was like, well, I already know Alison. I've worked with her, I've talked to her, I trust her. I'll just see if she's interested in doing this. And thankfully she was. And so that's kind of how I found Alison, and I will give you guys all the links to her stuff in the description below. So I just want to talk a little bit about what it was like, what I got out of it, and kind of how you guys can contact her if you're interested. So this is kind of like a testimonial video, honestly, but it was something that I felt like I wanted to do because she helped me out so much. And because we're so similar in that a lot of her coaching is very intuitive based, I felt like maybe a lot of you might actually resonate with her, and if you are looking for a life coach, she might be somebody to reach out to. What's great about her website is you can fill out her little questionnaire, ask all these questions, and she gets back to you, and you don't even have to there's no obligation. You can just sort of be like, hey, what is this all about? And so I felt like life coaching for me was a little bit about, you know, my work and my career, but it was also about my personal life and how that was affecting everything. And I think overall I just had this feeling of like, I feel stuck. I feel like there's so much that I'm doing that's taking me the wrong direction. Like I'm focusing on all of these things that are not leading me towards where I want to be. And so I sort of communicated all of this to her, and it was so great because she came up with sort of like a super personalized plan of how she was going to help me. I really just loved that it was one-on-one and it was very personalized to what was going on in my life. So we met once a week. We probably did this for about 3 months. She gave me a lot of homework in between, a lot of things to think about, a lot of things to implement. She gave me a ton of advice, like personal advice that I sort of needed to hear. You know, I was putting too much stock on what other people thought about me, and it was nice to hear her say, you know, little things every week here and there of like, you know, you can feel accountable for yourself. You know, just because somebody doesn't appreciate something that you do doesn't mean that you can't move forward with it. Just a lot of little things here and there, like you're not stuck, that for some reason it just really stuck with me. And I think the little pieces of advice that she gave, as well as the psychic readings that she gave to me every now and then, we sort of had those interspersed. I felt like I was getting some great advice from somebody who has done this work before, like as a professional. And I felt like I was also getting somebody who was using their intuition and not just, you know, putting all of the rules and methods. Sometimes I felt like she was going out of the box to be like, okay, guides, what's really going on here? Is there any other information that I can pull to really help Lauryn in a unique way? Alison herself was just super awesome. I felt like, obviously I've known her for a really long time, but I felt like I could trust her. But I also felt like she wasn't just sitting around being like, oh, what's wrong today? I felt like she very much came in and took the lead and was like, I have this plan for today. I'm going to talk to you about this. And when there was times when I was just being stubborn and not getting things done, or just, I don't know, there was times that I needed somebody to be like, no, you can't do it like this. You're beating yourself up. You're not taking care of yourself. Whatever it was, I felt like she could also be that like firm hand that I needed to hear. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's why I really like her. I felt like any coach that I've had, when I did volleyball, when I did theater, when I did film school, all that stuff, I always felt like the teachers who were firm with me and told me the truth was somebody that I needed. I didn't want anybody who was soft and just gonna let me slack. And so I felt like Alison was a really good match for me in that way. I also feel like she just put so many things in perspective for me that I was like, oh, duh. Like, no wonder I haven't been moving forward on this. At the beginning, she was like, okay, where do you want to be? Where is the end goal? And that was really easy for me to define. And then she asked me, okay, where are you at now? And I was like, okay, I had to think about it, but I had to define where I was at. And then we talked about all these obstacles in between of, okay, what's preventing you from getting from here to here? And it was a very simple exercise, but it was just mind-blowing to me that I hadn't thought that way. And so there was a lot of moments like that where she gave me strategies. So anytime I was feeling stuck, I could learn how to get out of it. So even after I'm done with the life coaching, I feel like I'm still using these strategies of, okay, here's where I want to be, here's where I'm at, here's the obstacles that are in my way. How can I get past those? How can I nick those in the bud? Another thing that really worked for me was just she held me accountable. It's so crazy how if somebody else knows everything about your life, knows your stresses, knows your worries, knows the goals that you want to set, how suddenly you'll just step up to the plate more and get things done because oh, I have a meeting with her and I don't want to come back and be like, I didn't feel like it. And so I think that was motivation enough for me to move forward on a lot of the things that I'd been stuck on before. Another big piece of advice that I took away was just time management. I'm somebody who makes lists and somebody who makes lists of lists of lists, and just like I was constantly focused on those lists. And so she sort of taught me, instead of getting everything done that I have on my list in a day, to categorize it by importance and the role that it plays in my life. And so that alone has made me so much more productive because I'm focusing on the things that I need to focus on first, which I would always put last. And then I'm also making sure that I'm getting a balance of different areas of my life. You can have a to-do list as a parent. You can have a to-do list as whatever your job is. You can have a to-do list in your passion, so my psychic stuff. And so I think she categorized them all, gave me all these awesome time management tools, and I've just been way more productive because of it. You've probably seen how many more videos I've been putting out, by the way, and that's a lot to do with Alison's coaching. So the overall outcome by the end of these 3 months, honestly, we moved forward into other issues because I felt like we tackled a lot of them and I moved forward and I made progress on so much that I started moving into like my health and just some other things that I wanted to get better while I had time with her. But towards the end, I felt like all the obstacles that I thought were in my way of starting a family were just so silly. And she had given me all these little things I could do here and there that made me just feel way more confident. Honestly, that's what I took away most from it, was just this sense of confidence of I can do this. At the beginning of the 3 months, I was in a place of like, I think it's going to take me another year or two to even come close to having kids. By the end of the life coaching thing, I had gained so much confidence around my work and what I could do to better support having a kid, and my personal life, how I can manage my time so I wouldn't feel so stressed, that honestly, we are ready to have a family now. Like, that's how much progress I feel like we made in those 3 months. And when I say we, I'm talking about my husband, because I think a lot of this bled off of me onto him. You know, I ended up talking more about time management. Obviously, I shared a lot of these tips with him. And since we both run our business together, a lot of the business advice that Allison gave me also applied to my husband. So I feel like this really honestly benefited both of us. So I'm super grateful for Allison for coming in and doing this. I think she really helped me get out of a rut that I'd been in for probably about a year and a half. And honestly, I can't recommend her enough. Not only is she just amazingly great at what she does, she's done this in government, she's done this in schools, like she's been a counselor before, but she uses her intuition and her psychic ability to help you out. And I think that is just another level of personalization that honestly, she gets to you at a spiritual level. And I think that's more than what a lot of life coaches do. So if you're interested in working with Allison in the future, go to the links in the description below. I'm going to link her website and her social media and all of that so that you can find her. Again, if you are sort of like, I don't know if this is for me, all you have to do is fill out that questionnaire on her website. And she also gives out a free hour consultation. And so that's kind of how I figured out if it was for me. So you can talk with her, tell her about what's going on in your life. You can get a good feel for her personality. And I'm sure you'll probably love her. And so yeah, I guess check her out. So let me know in the comments below. I'm curious how many of you guys have actually looked into life coaching, either receiving it or giving it. I think there's a lot of awesome people out there, and I hope that you guys check Allison out. All right, thanks guys for watching, and remember at the end of the day to always trust your gut.